Right now on Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel returns to an old client.
My friend Bill always has some kind of project going on. We've done a couple heavy builds in the past. The first one was a beat-up old four-door that I chopped a few inches and converted it to a two-door. Then we took an old 1948 International cab and put it on a modern roll-off chassis. Bill uses it as a work truck. That's the thing with his vehicles. They have to be super functional.
But now Ian takes on two projects at the same time.
I've always loved these Falcons. This is one of my favorites.
Bill's priority is getting this set up, but I'm really thinking about that van. That's a Falcon too? Why is it sitting here, Bill? You're not telling me why. There's gotta be something wrong with it.
But when the two Falcons leave the nest, plans fly out the window.
Well, always when you get Ian, you get surprises.
I got a bunch of concepts. I've never done anything like this before, so I just gotta make it happen.
And when things go wrong, Ian has to dig himself out.
The Falcon van, which I thought was gonna be the simple one, turns into a freaking mud-slinging fest.
I love watching Ian work. He is a master at his craft. He has two of my vehicles, so we're getting a double whammy here.
I convinced Bill that I could pull this off. All I have to do is prove it. I'm up here at my friend Bill's property today. He says he's got a couple Ford Falcon projects and he wants me to check them out.
Over the years, I've probably had 25, 30 of these things that I would drag home. Some needed things, some I just flipped, some I just fell in love with and had to have.
Falcon?
Yeah, that is not the one that I want to talk to you about, but that belongs to a friend that works here and he's building it, but...
Yeah, it looks like a good start.
Yeah, he's doing well on that. Ian looked at this nice little 62 Ranchero that's darn straight and said, really? We're gonna work on that car?
So let me guess, the project you have planned isn't in nearly this good a condition. Surprise, surprise.
That's why you're here.
All right, nice. Apparently, Bill has got that collector problem. He's got a bunch of cars, he needs to move them, he wants to improve on them. Coming up and checking out this yellow Falcon, this is what I'm familiar with. Bill's got cars all over his property. I think he stashes them to hide them from his wife, because some are in boxes, some are up on the hill. This yellow one is a total basket case. It's really rough.
That's not it.
Oh, there's a rougher one.
No. Actually, it's not bad. This one's real rough.
How many more of these do you have?
Just have this one in here. That beauty is inside here, Ian.
Oh, right on.
See?
That's my kind of starting point.
Yeah.
This is not anything like the other projects we've started.
Ian looked at it and went, man, this thing is nice. And I was just looking at the tailgate.
What, was it crashed or something?
No, it's the body's actually straight on it. There's not any rust.
This car is a time capsule. It's a total survivor. It's been sitting for almost 10 years, and it looks great. It looks like somebody just closed the doors, put it in that container, and walked away.
I had it for many, many years and drove it. It was my daily driver, and I gave the Falcon to my youngest boy.
Son got it, cruised it around, lowered it, the whole teenage experience. Basically, the car's dead in the water.
He took it to college, and he managed to ruin the suspension, cut the coils. It scrapes, it hits, it has no ride. It's still a good car. It just needs a little help.
This car's in great shape. I think you're stepping your game up, sir.
Yeah, it's pretty straight.
Yeah. Both Bill and I agreed the Ranchero doesn't need any body modifications. It's all about the suspension and the handling of this thing. The big problem with this car is that somebody lowered it poorly. Bill's idea is to kind of rehab it, make it good again.
I have a lot of parts on the property for the Ranchero. I'm hoping that Ian can use them to get the Ranchero back on the road.
Bill's talking about spicing up this Falcon pickup truck thing, and I see a Falcon van. That's a Falcon too?
That is a Falcon.
What year is this?
This is a 1962, as I recall.
That's what I'm talking about. I guess it's an early 60s Ford Falcon window van. It's a short wheelbase. Looks like it was maybe from a utility company or something. It's bare bones inside, but it's a pretty cool looking ride. I'm really thinking about that van. But Bill's priority is getting this truck set up. Well, I'm gonna go back to the shop. You put this on your truck and bring it down, and I don't want to see that yellow one showing up instead. This car is the one we're working on.
I can't do a switcher on you?
Yeah, right, yeah. You show me this one, and then all of a sudden that yellow thing pulls into the lot. Well, I got this car over here and just did my assessment. I told Bill he's got to come by. If this engine will start, then we're going in a different direction than what he had previously thought.
Wow. Last time I saw this Falcon, it was black. Ian went right into it, of course.
I've been busy. How are you?
It changed color.
Yeah. My main concern with this is that it had been painted so many times. I wanted to see what was going on under this weird black paint job. I DA sanded the whole thing with 80 grit just to see what was going on. And yeah, the car's got a couple paint jobs on it and it's got some repairs, but all in all, it's in great shape.
We wanted to start the Ranchero, and I knew it would start, and it did. And it always was reliable and ran perfect and needs to be tuned up.
So Bill came down to the shop, and I really just wanted to hash out what the plan was. I got a couple good ideas, and I want to talk it through. I think if you made any investment in this, it would be to just upgrade the whole suspension. I mean, that's your complaint, right?
They never handled well. So what's your, where do we go?
I've been looking online, and it seems like the hot ticket is like a full suspension kit upgrade. My plan of making this car handle way better than stock just led to a bunch of research. I was looking around, I find this company, TCI, and they make a kit that just might work for this. There's a Mustang 2 front end. It's a front clip, has power rack and pinion steering, adjustable coilover suspension. So what it does is it turns this into like a pro street, pro touring car.
Well, always when you get Ian, you get surprises. And I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Is that really a lot of work?
From looking at what they have, it's almost a bolt-in. Bill really likes this car, and I know that he's looking to get the sure thing. You know, I got a couple crazy ideas, and all I gotta do is convince Bill to go for it.
You know, I've had a lot of experience with Ian. I love everything he's done for me. He's never steered me down the wrong road. It's just writing them checks is a little tough.
So I think if we just set it up proper, put a great set of wheels and tires on it, it'll be like a new driver car. You know, you can drive it everywhere just like you used to.
Yeah, I love it.
I convinced Bill that I could pull this off. You know, all I have to do is prove it. I got a bunch of concepts. I've never done anything like this before, so I just got to make it happen. First order of business was to remove all the old suspension and cut out the strut towers to make room. The whole thing with this project is all the suspension's getting updated, so I'm just looking to get it out of the way. This is really exciting to me because it's going in a whole new direction. I want to get all these parts and put them together and see how it works. I sanded it all down, cleaned it up, and now it's ready for the kit. It was messy. I used the torch, the plasma cutter, the Sawzall. My job is done here. I got all the TCI parts in, and it's like Christmas morning. It's boxes and wrappers and laying out all the stuff. This stuff is totally pro race car looking suspension components. You got disc brakes, lowered spindles, adjustable coilover shocks, the whole 9 yards. The first order of business is to get this front suspension in place. There's a series of bolt holes and guides that you use to locate this, so there's really no measuring. It's pretty straight ahead. Just reinforce these chassis components and then go in with the cross member. The whole thing that's going on here is these plates are boxing over the existing chassis, and it's gonna make it super strong. The cool factor in all of this is a proven design, and I know the car is gonna be way better for it. The TCI kit is made for a Falcon car. The Ranchero is like a truck, so I know the rear suspension area is gonna be some issue, but the front should just bolt right in. So the cross member that holds everything just slides into place, and you just follow through with it. Tack that together, on to the next. Having the cross member installed, the next step is the upper shock mounts. They locate with a little index mark, you square them up, weld them on. After that, the front sway bar mounts go in, and it's just a simple measure and weld. I'm used to working with old junk that I have to make fit. This is all brand new and fits perfectly. The most challenging part of this is the welding and setup. Every other component just bolts right into place. So this is the lower control arm. This is for the driver's side, and that's what goes in first. These mount the sway bar, which is those tabs I just put in. And let's do the passenger side. Everybody who has an old car wants it to drive better, add more power, right? That's hot rodding, and this is the same formula, 21st century style. The whole thing about the TCI suspension is it's completely custom. They call it a Mustang 2, but every part is custom. The coil-over suspension ride height is adjustable with this dial here, vented and drilled brake rotors. Of course, a power rack and pinion steering. Almost too easy. I need something challenging after this project. So the rack needs to be centered, alignment needs to be established, all that good stuff. What I'm doing is just assembling it enough to get it on the floor, and it's gonna go to the professional. I have other issues to contend with in the rear. There's a couple unknowns for this whole rear suspension. TCI sent over a whole bunch of different components from 2 different kits, so I have to figure out what to use and how to modify them. Knowing Bill, there's been a bunch of different upgrades to this car, and that adds to the big question mark. You know, the axle may be different, the transmission, who knows what's gone on under there. So here's the deal, here's where they went wrong. Lowering blocks are okay, but not hollow lowering blocks. It's no wonder this car handled terribly. Aha. So, there's your lowering block. There's a bunch of stuff holding this rear suspension on. The bottom line is just take it all out. Drop the axle, pull out the leaf springs, strip it down. Only one more to go. That is stuck. What happened is the bolt has rusted to the collar inside the rubber. So see, I'm getting flex, but it's locked in place. This is really bringing it home for me. This is the type of stuff I typically deal with on a project. The whole front side of this car just got me spoiled. But, you know, I got my ways. I got that thing eventually, but it took a while. I know this kit's gonna need some type of modifications. I'm just gonna start off by checking out the rear axle and all the brackets that fasten to it. Right off the bat, I can see that the Ranchero has a completely different axle than what the TCI kit is asking for. So there's a huge mismatch. The Ford 9-inch is your typical go-to axle for a race car. TCI specs this because it's bulletproof. They're hard to break. I could modify these parts to work, no problem, but knowing Bill, he's got a 9-inch Ford up at his place. There's also something that I've been wanting to talk to him about. Bill's got a ton of Falcon and Ranchero stuff laying around. He has a 9-inch rear end that's in good condition. It's gonna make this install a whole lot easier.
I've got a bunch of rear ends laying here. I don't believe I have a Ford 9-inch. I think this is 6-cylinder. It's 4-lug.
That ain't gonna work. So Bill's steering me around his parts pile, and we're back at this yellow Ranchero again. It's a pretty rough car, but I'm gonna look underneath and just see what it's got. Oh yeah, it's 5-lug.
It's a 5-lug.
This is a V8 car?
This is a V8 car.
You got a trailer hitch. No, this is an identical axle to yours.
Yeah, to my knowledge, they did not make a 9-inch in a Falcon car.
Cost effectiveness, you know that is operating in the car. Maybe I'll just modify what we have and make that one work.
Okay, that's great. If you can bracket for that, I'd like it, and we've got a spare. I'm very happy he's gonna use what's in there because it's a good rear end. And he'll make it work and it'll be great.
So, enough about these Rancheros. I wanted to talk about your other Falcon.
Aha.
That van thing over there.
Okay.
To me, that's the real jewel on the lot. So ever since I came up here last time, this thing's been on my mind. I got to looking at the van, and I'm really into it. I think if we could fix this thing up, we'd probably sell it and help finance the Ranchero. Because it doesn't look like it's been crashed. There's a mystery somewhere in this thing, just like the other car. It's like, why is it sitting here, Bill? You're not telling me why. There's got to be something wrong with it.
I think I've had this for probably 10, 12 years. I've always liked it. It, of course, is a Falcon, too, and you know me and
so
Falcons. I bought this van from a farm up in Bakersfield many years ago, and I don't think Ian noticed it at first, but there really is some rust damage. There's a lot of these panels, I guess, that held water at the bottom.
Oh, wow.
See them?
Well, there's your problem right there. Yeah, it looks one thing from the outside, but there's a whole story going on underneath.
Right.
So all the doors are like this?
I don't think all of them. I think the driver is the worst. It just held the water over the years.
But that's kind of good because like a van that's near the ocean or something will rot. The whole top will rot out because the salt will sit in all the weather stripping and rubbers. But I think you got the opposite, like sediment clogged up any drain holes in the bottom. I wouldn't consider this the typical kind of rust, though, that I'm familiar with. You see all these wheel arches rotted out, and what I'm seeing is the exact opposite. And it seems like every area that could clog up with sediment and hold water did. Just looking at this van, I see greatness. It's got some issues, but I know I can work through it. This is cool. It's a total beach van. You could sell this to one of the surfer guys down on California Street for a mint. Well, all in all, I think it's a survivor, man. I think it's a good base platform to start. What about this engine?
When I bought this van, I did some motor work and drivetrain work to it, and I think it should run fine. It'd be nice to finance the Ranchero with this project, and I hope Ian's not taking on too much. Let's try to revive it and bring it back and see what it is.
It's in great shape. The body looks pretty straight. I think we could just freshen it up a little. He can make some money.
With Ian, nothing's ever too much work or too much trouble or too hard. So we'll see.
Bill loves the idea of getting rid of this van, but he's just a little reluctant because here I am dragging him into another project. So I just got to keep the pep talks going, turn these cars out. I'm locked and loaded. I'll take it down to the valley and I'll give you my prognosis. I came up here looking for an axle, but now I got a trailer loaded up with a van, another project, and I'm heading back to the shop. So here we go, project number 2. Got the van down to the shop. What's not to dig about this? It's a 62 Falcon van. And this thing is it's very cool. It's a short wheelbase, so that's desirable. Engine works, brakes work. Just like Bill said, the thing runs great. So it was just a matter of getting fuel and battery, and it runs perfect. Everything about it looks decent, except it's got the cancer. It's got some bad rust issues in it. To me, that's the scariest part in the whole vehicle, because I know what we're looking at is just the tip of the iceberg. I got a couple good ideas on how to get this thing back in action. The question is, how bad is it? All right, so I'm gonna start off on the front, because to me, it looks like it's hiding some secrets. Pull off the front bumper, turn signals, trim stuff. start sanding it. And that's where the story begins. There's a ton of filler in this thing. I'm doing the excavation here, you know, this is down and dirty. I thought I could sand it off, but it just got thicker and thicker. I ended up just cracking it off as brutally as I could. Yeah, it's all pushed in right there. Even though the van looks pretty good, you see it's hiding secrets. Some of my time in Egypt spent doing exactly this type of operation. I'd say there's been a traumatic event. This van ran into something, and then it was repaired really poorly. The easiest solution would be to get a replacement panel, but I think I can just take this thing, reformulate it, and put it back into place. Yeah, there's definitely some issues here. So I cut this panel out, and I see an even bigger problem. Turns out the inner structure of the van is rusted out. This is your typical can of worms scenario. I was hoping I wouldn't have to get inside, but now we're in, and it's a mess. All of a sudden, it ain't so pretty, is it? I'm gonna cut the top panel above the headlight and try to reform that too, but first I'm gonna fix this internal structure. I'm gonna cut this pillar off of this. Not only did I just replace this bottom plate, I gusseted it up into the floorboard. It never had this structure, and I made this bottom of the A-pillar just bigger. You see, it's all triangulated, so it just creates this big shape that's super strong. Once I got the inner structure built, it was on to straighten out the panels. So the challenge here is to try to put this back into shape. I cut it off pretty simply so I can reinstall it, but if you look at it, it's totally caved in right here. You got a nice crunch here, and then of course there's rust in this corner. But while I'm setting this up, I'm gonna give this one some action too, and maybe I could just knock this into shape as well. The cool factor about this is that you're not your typical auto body procedure. I'm gonna fire up this torch and get medieval on it. This metal piece was created in a certain shape. The only thing that changed was the collision made it into a different shape. I want to bring it back to the way it was, and that's just done by a series of heating and hammering. The whole idea with annealing the metal is to just evenly heat it so that all the molecules kind of relax. They're all shrunk up and rigid. So I'm just trying to get the whole thing as red hot as possible, then it'll be softer. This is way better than it was. The whole idea is I'm just gonna fit it into place and then continue hammer and dollying it. The main point of the collision was obviously in this lower door hinge area, and it's way out of shape. So once I get the sheet metal skin on the front looking good, it's all about the door gap. Just gonna come in with another piece of sheet metal, fit it up, so structure's back. I'm really happy with the way that this metal repair worked out. I mean, this van was not even usable, truly. So structure's back, sheet metal skin is on, a little filler, and it's on to primer and paint. I need to get the Ranchero to be a roller. It's got a long ways to go. I got this polyester style primer from Eastwood. Bill didn't have a 9-inch rear axle. He says the one that's in the car is in perfect working order. So I've come up with a plan that's just going to adapt the TCI brackets to the smaller axle housing. First thing I did was cut off the leaf spring perches and then sanded down the metal to just prep out the axle. The TCI kit is calling for a 3-inch diameter axle tube. This one is only 2 1/4. I'm gonna set up a couple steel plates and make an adapter so that their parts will fit right to this axle. There's really no concern with strength with this adapter. It's thicker material than their brackets, but really it's just about getting all the parts centered up properly. I got the brackets welded on. I'm just gonna get this axle painted and ready for installation. thing is that I need to put this whole unit under the vehicle like this, assembled. So it's pretty bulky. My whole idea with installing this rear suspension is to mock it all up on the table, slide it under the car, and just see how it's gonna work out. I'm taking this approach because I wanna see what's gonna be close enough to work, what I need to modify, and how to go forward on this. This whole kit was designed to work together, so what I'm trying to do is just modify everything as little as possible. You know, the car works great as it is, the suspension works great as it is. I just gotta figure out how to put them together. You can see with my dual jack procedure, I'll be able to elevate this, plug it in. As soon as I lift this thing into place, I could see where the difference lies. Already I'm seeing an issue. The brackets going up that are meant to hit the floor are about 1 inch off. So you can see that this bracket is supposed to be right up against the floor, so it's just about that much. And you can see here, it's the same deal. So this is one thing that definitely needs to be modified. And the good news is that the wheelbase is proper. The axle is right above the bump stops, right where it was. So these dimensions are perfect. All I need to do is set this subframe up inside the car a little bit. The first order of business is this old bump stop that used to be a snubber for the differential. That was definitely in the way because the car is gonna ride so low. First order of business was cutting it off. Second, I just needed to drill a few holes to reposition the rear bracket where the arms locate. Once I did that, the rear fit up perfectly. It was time to move on to the front. All right, so the rear is one thing, but the front is entirely another. This frame is wider than the Ranchero, and it's deeper. I got a plan. I call it a cutting disc, a sawzall, and a welder. Watch me go. In really thinking this through, it seems like if I just cut off a bit of the front portion of the subframe connector, I should be able to make this fit, and by boxing it in, it'll make it even stronger. With all the suspension in place, it's ready for the engine and transmission. Bill really had a concern about the transmission on this car, so we got hooked up with Monster Transmission, got a brand new, fresh transmission put in there. It's an AOD, automatic overdrive. That's what Bill upgraded this car to, and they had a direct replacement. Doug's headers, these guys obviously know what they're doing. It's all ceramic coated, super nice stuff. But they set it up so that just comes in and the steering rod clears. It's got just enough room to operate, so that's cool. It's really satisfying to get this car in an assembled state. I can't wait to show it to Bill. Last time he saw it, there was a bunch of concepts and a half disassembled vehicle. All right, well, are we ready for delivery? No response. I'm getting a chimp, that's it. You're not holding up your end of the bargain. No, I'm gonna go get a small monkey. It's gonna be way more charming. No, I'm sorry. Came up here to Bill's. The Falcon van is up here. We're getting started on body work. I pulled off all the doors. John, the body guy, can block out all the panels independently while I'm working on the body.
Well, with Ian, I've kind of gone over the top this time. I've never done it before. He has 2 of my vehicles. So we're getting a double whammy here. And I'm kind of going, dang, there's still a ton to do here.
The main thing I need to accomplish is getting this rear quarter behind the wheel arch repaired. That's another reason they didn't want this van, because I had to fix this panel.
I love watching Ian work. He's a master at his craft. So, you know, I was watching him and watching how he did it. He's like a surgeon. Wow, you knocked that out quick, Ian.
That's the plan, man. No time to waste. So the rear quarter worked out perfectly. Very simple. Then the rocker, which I thought was gonna be the simple one, turns into a freaking mud-slinging fest. Look at all the mud coming out. That's why it rusted.
When that dirt started coming, you know, I thought, well, there's, you know, a coffee can full of dirt. Then I went around the other side and came back, and there's 2 coffee cans full of dirt. And I'm thinking, whoa, where's he getting all this dirt?
Look at it all.
This truck was originally in Bakersfield area, and I think on a ranch. So it just probably drove back and forth on these ranch roads.
This is like surgery, you know? Not a lot of people go for it this way, but I've got a technique. Let's see what happens when I blow out this vent. Ooh, yeah. It's the air hose wrangling, dry it out, weld her up. Once I got all the mud cleaned out, I started on the patch panel. I'm gonna concentrate on the metal work, because that's what I do. You can have your gardener come in and take care of the rest of this sod work. I'm gonna make a patch. I found that I needed a slight radius in the bend, and I was able to first form it with the Eastwood sheet metal brake, and then just tap it out on the radius of the floor seam, and it matched the van perfectly. Look at that, it's like a van wall. Perfect. The whole goal is to get this van into primer. So the rust repair is complete, filler is going on. So I think one more day of me welding and John will finish up, then I can primer it. I was excited about this project for the interior. You know, it's kind of a blank canvas. The inside is empty. It's a window van. It's got tons of potential.
Well, I envisioned some
Shag carpet, disco ball,
some
posters with nudie girls.
some benches to sit on.
It's so conservative.
And
Opening bags.
no, could we make storage in benches?
It's like your typical camper van
Right,
setup. But like
right.
I had a 70s van. It was a high roof van, and it had 2 benches along each side. They flipped open for storage.
That's
and then it was
the
almost
one.
like a sailboat where you would just plug the table
Correct.
into the floor.
That's what's on my mind. As we've got more involved with this van, I thought the interior would be nice if it was functional, some storage, and very comfortable to sit in. Ian was talking about a beach-style van, and I think that'd be fun.
Ideally, we would just find a couple of van seats and plug them in. That would be the easy way. Well, I think if we build the benches, they'll be custom fit for this. You know, I'll just build it out of square steel tube and we'll face them off because it's kind of a generic shape. But the table's really going to be the centerpiece, however you want to go with that.
I have a table or two in some container storage up above that you can look at and
Yeah, that'd be
see
the
if you
easiest
can
way.
make it
Sure.
work or work from that.
Bill takes me to the upper level, you know, the storage spot, the semi-permanent collection. And first thing, cresting the hill, I see a table. It's very fast food.
That's exactly what it is.
That's the vibe you're going for.
Yeah, my friend's uncle had a hamburger stand, and that's where that came from.
I can make anything work, but looking at this, we're not building a drive-through burger joint, we're making a cool van. The good thing is, Bill says he's got plenty more things. He's got a couple shipping containers just full of stuff waiting to get put in this van. The old box of treasures.
Yes, there's just everything in here.
Digging around through the storage container, I'm seeing a washing machine, a space heater, a bunch of car parts, and he's got these 2 tabletops.
This one's rough, but we can clean that up, but that's...
Oh, it's like a Formica top. That's
Right.
the vibe we're going for. This one's kind of messed up. We can cut it and modify it, but...
No, I think I got the winner right here. Look at this
That's
guy
exactly it.
with
Yeah.
this yellow Formica.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, it's got that 60s flavor, especially with the metal edge and the Formica. I see no reason why we shouldn't make this work. I can build a couple benches, and we'll use this tabletop. It's the centerpiece. It fits the era of the van. I want this van to be nice. The tabletop's looking good, but I want to put a whole new base on it, get a new pedestal and something to attach to the floor. That was part of my concern is inside the van. You can see it's pretty cramped. So this table proportionally is pretty bulky. but it looks like if we drop it 6 inches easy, then you'll just have enough room to scoot in and sit in here. The van vibe is all about plush interior, carpeted surfaces. I'm gonna make a couple box shapes that will be storage, but they'll also be carpeted bench seats all along the side of the van. I'm choosing to build this out of 1-inch square tubing because it's strong, and I also have a bender that can make a nice radiused edge. In seeing the Formica tabletop, I knew this bender was gonna match that detail on the corner of the table perfectly. That's what I'm thinking. Use that milk crate as a mock-up, just for height. This is the standard mock-up procedure. You see it in everything I do. I got a couple shapes that represent the seats. They're gonna be mocked up on milk crates. Got a 5-gallon pail, an old tire, a couple 2x4s, just stacking parts, seeing how they fit. All the high-tech spacing, you know, this is how they built the space shuttle, actually. You're not gonna have any basketball players in here, are you?
No, that's great. I like that height.
This is a pretty simple idea, but the whole goal here is to have Bill happy with the end result.
I love the benches, Ian, and I really think this was a great call.
So the whole mode for the interior on this is just get it done. Bill's got a bunch of stuff here that I can work with, and I'm just gonna try to pull through this as efficiently as possible.
Ian and John have done a great job on the van. Bodywork, it needed a little more, of course, than we thought, but they've got it. And exciting today, Ian is bringing up the Ranchero. I haven't seen it before, and I'm majorly excited about seeing it. We're rolling to the lift, and I can see how the stance is gonna be. It's gonna be just awesome. I haven't really got to look underneath yet, but I'm really excited about it.
Up to this point, everything was hearsay. You know, Bill only saw the Ranchero a couple times, but bringing it back here, fully assembled, it's just cemented the fact. I think he's in my pocket. I think I got him. Let me show you what we got, sir. This isn't the Ranchero you're used to looking at. Behold, the new and improved.
It's just amazing.
Coilover shocks that are adjustable. Then to not modify the floor, they put this huge, they call it a torque arm. So the top of the differential comes down through these adjustable heim joint links, so you can adjust your pinion angle.
Oh my gosh, this thing is gonna be like a sports car. This is gonna drive like a totally, totally different vehicle.
Yeah, race car stuff. Look at this sway bar.
Yeah.
You remember your little Monte Carlo bar? Well, this is gonna do it the right way. I think Bill was just kind of tripping out on how techy everything was.
Well, you made it sound pretty simple, but
This front end was simple. This was a one-day job. The rear and the center section were a bit more challenging because I had to modify the floors underneath.
well, this is beautiful. I've never really looked at all these fancy suspension things. Now I got one, and I can look at my own, and pretty exciting. The only thing more exciting than seeing it today, which is pretty incredible, is the first time I fire it and get to drive it.
Yeah.
On the next episode of Full Custom Garage, Master Metalman Ian Roussel continues the transformation of the two Falcons.
I didn't tell Bill when I was returning or what I was doing or what color I was painting it. It was like a surprise reveal.
Wow, and this is the cool finish.
But Ian's client has his sights set on selling the Falcon van.
Ian's always full of surprises, and my wallet is getting empty.
The whole deal with this van project was, hey man, you could make some money and recoup on this investment in the Ranchero. I got a million ideas, but there ain't one done yet.
With the pressure on, Ian calls in some help from his friends.
Jack comes by. He's the upholstery guy.
This is really nice.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to determine the final tone is we have a shoe test.
A shoe test?
I'll be right back.
What's...
There's a lot going on to finalize both of these projects at the same time. My friend Bob's in town.
I'm here to help. Let's get this baby done. I'm pumped. Ian,
What?
I'm stuck. Help me out of here.
It's all that hair gel.
We're getting Ianized, and I think I have somebody that's interested in buying it.
I like cars. I like cars that have motorcycles in them better.
And with the van sale on the line, things are heating up with the Ranchero.
I'm just holding it together, you know? I'm turning dials, ringing bells, blowing whistles, the whole 9 yards. Bill's looking at me a little cross-eyed because all he hears is this clunking, chugging engine. It's smoke pouring out of it. I gotta pull this off.